All right, welcome to Watchers Talk Live. We are live once again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good morrow, depending on where in the world you are paying attention to us and tuning in today. I am your host, Leonard O'Neill, and this is Watchers Talk Live. As you know, we are live once again. Today we have some exciting things to talk about. I'd like to go down our calendar a little bit here. Right, tomorrow, don't forget to tune in tomorrow. This is a very good show coming up tomorrow on the 2nd at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Pacific time. We have Heather coming on. She's a medium, and you're going to want to hear what she has to say. You guys, tune in for that. Then, on the 4th, we have Caroline coming on from Omnium Universe. That's the lady who I was telling you about before that we're really excited to have her on. She has the first documentary that we're going to talk about when she's on our show on the 4th. She's going to be here at 4 p.m. Pacific. Be on to see that because she won an award. She's winning an award in New York coming up at the end of the month. If you guys are going to be in New York at the end of the month, you can go and see her play that entire movie that she made, this documentary that she made that she's going to win an award for. It's the first time anybody's won an award for anything that has to do with aliens. We got all kinds of other stuff coming up. Bruce Cunningham on the 5th. All kinds of crazy stuff. Look on our calendar at watcherstalk.com. Take a look at May. We are insane with May. We have, I don't even know how many guests here. I got 28, 30 guests here scheduled up for May. So take a look at that. It's going to be exciting. Okay, today's May Day. If anybody knows what that is, yesterday was the April 30th. April 30th and the 1st of May is the center point between the first day of spring and the summer solstice. So today is the first official day of summer. So all kinds of people around the world traditionally have all kinds of ceremonies that they do on May Day. May Day for the Christians and the Catholics is today is the day of that exact thing. The first, it's spring is over, summer is starting, and they have this festival that they do. The Celts have Beltane, Merry Meet, Happy Beltane for the Celts. Communist countries, today is their International Workers' Day. So that's like Labor Day in the United States of America, if you guys are wondering that. The Vikings traditionally had this, it was called Valpurgis Nacht, which I believe that means it means something about the first of May, the first day of May. Old English was Primilici Monap, which actually meant month of three milkings. which is May, month of free milkings. But they all had ceremonies for that, and it's weird that all around the world there's different cultures that have the same day as a ceremony on the same day. Now we know obviously it's because it was the first day of summer, and that might be why. But there's other things that are crazy stuff that goes on all over the world, which brings me to our guest today. Our guest today that we have on here is Dimitro, and Dimitro is from Mysterious Earth, and he has a news website and Facebook page where he broadcasts and shows all the stuff that we talk about on Ancient Aliens Worldwide. So he's here with us today. Dimitro, say hello to the fans.
Hello to the listeners. My name is Dmytro Chervinko, and I'm from the Western Ukraine. And I want to talk to you today. So I have a big website with almost 125 of thousands on Facebook fans on my Facebook page, and this page is dedicated to world mysteries, to ancient aliens, unexplained flying objects, and so on and so forth, to unexplained things around the world. And I think this theme is really very actual right now, because our world really have a lot of unexplained things. For example, how Egyptian pyramids and pyramids from the whole world were built. For example, Bermuda Triangle. What is the mystery of Bermuda Triangle? Why a lot of ships and airplanes were lost there, and so on and so forth. I want to say that really all of our days, every day we can find more and more mysteries worldwide, and it's very interesting. And the nature of humankind is that we wanna have an answers to all of the mysteries we are surrounding. So that's why I created this website something like two years ago, and now it's very popular because we post really very interesting content, really interesting articles, and our fans sharing our articles, and so on and so forth.
See, I think that's great. That's and now you're over in the Ukraine. Is that correct? Or am I wrong in that?
Yeah. I'm in Ukraine, and I'm from Ukraine.
See, the reason I point that out is for us here in America, that's very fascinating, because we're realizing now that the world is really small, smaller than we thought, that people all over the world are thinking and asking the same questions that we're thinking and asking. So for us, it's great to have someone from a different culture so far away on the planet that you ask the same things we ask, the same questions we ask, you interested in the same answers that we're trying to find. So for us, that's very important. And just so you guys know, your viewers out there, that Dimitro's first language is not English, as you can tell. So he's doing a very good job. I will have to speak slower than I normally do for him so that he can understand what I'm saying. But he's doing a very good job. I wish that I would be able to speak to you in your native tongue. That would be easier for us, yeah? So tell us how you came to, when in your life did you first discover maybe UFOs or aliens that got you interested in doing what you're doing now? How far back does that go? Were you a child when that happened?
Maybe in general, I'm a very curious person, and from the very childhood, I was very interested in the whole range of things, in science, in not only science, but even in pseudoscience, in forbidden science, and unfortunately, I still haven't seen UFO, but and aliens. But I hope I will do this in the future, and it's interesting for me to unravel different mysteries, and every time I watch television or see something on internet, it's see something. I mean, something mysterious. It's really very interesting for me, and I'm trying to find the answer to the questions which our universe, which our planet asks us. So it's really exciting. It's really exciting thing to answer to these all questions, and I think if to say about probability of alien existence, I think that they do exist because as I'm PhD in physics, I do know that our universe is so large that we can't even imagine how the scale of it, and could we imagine that our planet Earth is the only one that have life in this universe? I think that the probability of alien existence is very large because our universe has more than 100 of billions of galaxies with 100 of billions of stars and trillions of planets that move around the stars like us. That's why I think that some extraterrestrial form of life probably exists because the chances are very great, and for example, maybe the last decade, scientists found really a big amount of Earth-like planets. I think today we have something like about a few thousands of such planets, and the chances of finding life, extraterrestrial life, on them are very high.
I agree. the mathematical probability that there would be life on other planets is 100% certain. There's just so many planets out there, solar systems out there, stars out there that would have what we refer here, I don't know, in your country, when we're in the West, we refer to that as the Goldilocks zone. That's from the story of the three bears, where it's not too hot, not too cold, but just right for life to appear. So we call that the Goldilocks zone here, a planet that, or a solar system that would have a planet that would fit into the Goldilocks zone. And that, like you said, thousands and thousands of planets. So the idea of alien life or extraterrestrial life has to be. There's just too many places for them to live that there wouldn't be aliens. So we believe that too. And now you guys here, our listeners and our viewers, you're hearing that from. You heard that he has a. He said he has a PhD in physics, so he's doing the mathematics. He's a lot more. He's not just me. I don't have a PhD in physics. I have some background in physics, but only a few years. And now he's saying the mathematical probability is that aliens would exist because he's a physicist. So that gives him a little bit more weight than just the average Joe, the average American. So now, how many species would you think of alien life is out there? Do you think there's hundreds, millions, Maybe just two,
I
10? What do you think?
I think that we can of course we can't name the precise number of species, but in general I think that numbers are not like 2 or 3 or 1,000. I think maybe there is even millions or billions of different species live in our universe, because the different circumstances in our universe differ very much from one star to another, and the planets are so different, and the physical measures are also so different in these planets. I mean, the pressure and the gravitation and the temperature differs really very much. And the other question is also is why do we think that that living creatures should, for example, live in Earth-like conditions? Maybe some advanced life lives in conditions that we can't even imagine. Maybe some forms of life live in for example, there is also the nature of human, that we want to think like humans, and that's why we trying to find answers like the way we think, and that's why we think that the alien life should be on Earth-like planets in this in similar conditions and so on. But I think that it's not a fact that, for example, some form of life should live in Earth-like conditions. Could I think it could exist in more tougher conditions than we have on Earth, for example.
Right, and I agree with that. And the Drake equation is what I was referring to earlier. And a lot of people say that the Drake equation that doesn't work, and that there's something wrong with it, but they've never been able to give proof. Math is math. Just like Dmitry was saying just now, that people tend to think in human form, and that how many other human races would be out there, and they get caught in that. So when they look at the Drake equation, they say that the Drake equation doesn't work properly, but the Drake equation wasn't calculating just for human form. Like Dmitry was saying, there's other species that could live in, we're carbon-based corporeal form. There's other species out there that could be completely different, that would be living on planets that wouldn't be hospitable to us. So the Drake equation, for those of you out there who like to hate on the Drake equation is giving the account for any life form, period, that would be intelligent. And that would be anything that would be intelligent, period, a life form, alien, not just any bipedal humanoid carbon-based unit someplace else, although I believe that we would be all over the universe too. I don't think that we're just here. What's your opinion on that? Do you think human races are out there in many different places?
About what did you ask about human races? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you believe that there's many human races in the universe?
In the universe, I think that there are many other human races is on our planet, and we still don't know about them. But maybe every month, every year, for example, archaeologists find one after another giant skeletons about and we know that there must have been some advanced civilization or civilizations of giants who existed on Earth. So that's why I think there are really a lot of human races even on Earth, and maybe on another planets. And it's worth saying also that not only giant skeletons, but skeletons of different shapes also found every time on Earth, and that's very intriguing because we don't know how they managed to do on Earth, and it's very complicated question. How do they how did they live there, and how and where are they now? Where are they come from? But I think that all human races that differ from our human nation came from somewhere from the universe. So maybe some ancient aliens or Anunnaki or other types of aliens. We don't exactly know about this, but I think it's clear that a lot of giant skeletons and little skeletons that archaeologists find every year, they differ too much from our human race, and it's a mystery that we should unravel in the future.
Right, and we know just from DNA tests, pardon me, that have been done. Just if you look at Stephen and Evan Strong's work from Australia with their book Out of Australia, they have done research, and the teams that they talk about in their book have done DNA research on the humans that are here now on the planet from different places around the planet, and they're realizing that there are at least 7 different DNA strands of humans that are here now, just the ones that are us modern people, and that there was prior to that another almost 10 different species who lived here that were not what we are now as the human population that we are, and that they were here and gone now, and some DNA is still mixed with some humans here on the planet. And then, like you said, we're finding now giant skeletons and smaller skeletons, and they're looking at the DNA strand that we have. And originally they said, that 10% of our DNA was ours and the 90% was junk DNA. What they consider now, they're saying maybe not, and they're starting to actually understand and starting to almost hint that they believe that no human originated on this planet. Originally, everyone wanted to say that we evolved from the apes on this planet, and there was always the missing link, and they could never find that to link it together. And now they're starting to think that maybe that's because we never came from here. What's your opinion on that? Do you think humans evolved here, or do you think we came here from another planet and terraformed the Earth?
I think that humans did not evolve on our planet because how could we explain the all variety of living species on our planet? Some people tell that there is that Darwin wrote that, for example, people like an advanced form of evolution from, for example, from apes, that they came from apes. But it's worth saying that I was reading the first publishing of Darwin on the origin of species, and in this book he never wrote that people, for example, are the advanced form of apes or something like that. He just wrote that all the species are trying to all the species collect good some good abilities that help them help them to stay alive in different circumstances or in different conditions on our Earth. But he never thought about connection between our between apes and people, for example. And it's really interesting that if we take into account our the scientific opinion about origin of modern human. I mean that first it was Neanderthals, then it was Cro-Magnon, and so on and so forth. But I think that this species of human, if to take this into account, they really differ very too much. To if you want to take into account them into account and say that they somehow connected with each other. I don't think so. I think that, for example, Neanderthals or Cro-Magnon, these species are not connected, and for example, our modern human race is also not connected, for example, to Neanderthals and so on. And I think that our modern human race originated somewhere in the universe, because it's very hard to imagine how and explain by evolutionary theory how could we imagine that from one alone cell in the succession there was a human origination with trillions of cells, with brains that is the most powerful for now, the most powerful computer even for now, and so on and so forth. I think it's very hard to believe in this, that from one cell we can achieve, for example, a human organism.
Right, I agree with you 100%, because if you look, we would have more telltale signs of being, if we were blended with the DNA from the different Cro-Magnon, like you were saying, and the Neanderthal, and these people were here, and there is some proof that we were here at the same time that they were, but very little proof that there was a lot of interbreeding between the different species. And I agree with you that, if you look at the DNA of the people that are here now, you're right, absolutely. The DNA of the people that are here now just show, like you said, what region of the world they come from, and the different environments that they would have to survive in, like for yourself and for myself being European, we're more apt to be under clouds and not in the sun, and where it's more colder up in the snowy areas than it is in the around the equator. Whereas other races would be more fit to live in that environment where you have like the Polynesian race, which is more in that environment closer to the islanders, closer to the equator, and they fit there. I was working with a buddy of mine who is Mexican, and I'm here in California, and this isn't native to my race or my species, but we can survive here, but it's not normal, and the temperature was getting hot, and we were working, and he wasn't sweating, and I was sweating, and I said, "How come you're not sweating?" He says, "I'm Mexican, I'm from here." He says, "This is my environment, so that's not hot for me yet." And I laughed because he was right. Right? He's used to the environment. It doesn't bother him as much as it does me. It was too hot for me, but for him, it doesn't bother him. He doesn't sweat until it gets to be like 110. So I'm sweating at 78. It's hot for me because I like the cold. I like the temperature where it's cold and damp, So I agree with you on that. And people they don't understand that, and they think that some people think the different races are, and then maybe they are the different races that are here, like the Asian race and the Latino race and the African race, and then the Aryan race and the different races that are here, even like the Mongolians, that they came from maybe planets or solar systems where each of those were an individual race. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but I know that at least we're the same species. You know what I mean? We're identical otherwise. We just have different traits that change the way we look. But I don't think that means that they were completely different. But then again, maybe. What is your opinion? Do you think that each individual race, like maybe the Italians, came from a planet where it was all Italians, or maybe that the Asians came from a planet that was all Asian? What do you think about that?
I think, in my opinion, if you take into account some investigation in which they were told that some human races, the difference in DNA in some human races is more than the difference in DNA in the human race in general, and for example with apes. I mean that, for example, the difference in DNA with human race and chimpanzee at all is only 1%, and the difference between the races of humans, the species of humans on Earth, sometimes it's like 3 or 4%. That's why it's really. I think it's really true that maybe different nations came from different planets, and science also approves this, that every integral part of our body, every cell, every drop of water in our body came from cosmic dust. I mean that. If we take into account cosmological theories, in which we can understand that, for example, Earth and everything on Earth originated from the death of some big supernova star, right? And after the death of the star, some heavy elements, like, for example, all of heavy elements, like from ferrum to gold, for example, originated in this death of the star, and that's why they are now on Earth, for example.
Right, right. And I agree with that 100% because of what I've learned as well. Now let me switch topics and ask you what do you think about the pyramids we've found all around the world, different countries?
Yes. It's very interesting question, and of course, it's very intriguing questions. We can find pyramids almost everywhere on Earth, even in Ukraine. There are pyramids in Crimea. There were something like Crimean pyramids. I don't know very much about them, but I think that we can find pyramids almost everywhere in the world. For example, yes, in the most known are in Egypt, and one of the biggest are in Egypt. Also, we can find pyramids in Bosnian pyramids, also Aztec pyramids. Also, as I know, there were some investigations even even underwater pyramids were found, and so on and so forth. And it's very interesting to investigate this question because pyramids are so well designed,
Right?
that it's hard. Yeah. And the technology is not known even to modern science. If we
Right.
take into account that modern science can almost everything, but they do not understand how the ancients built these pyramids, because, for example, in Egyptian pyramids, for example, the holes between the stone, there are no even space between the stones from which they were built, and these stones are also so massive that some of them, the weight of some of them are something like as I know, 100 tons. And how could we all imagine how these ancients transported these stones without any technologies, without any advanced technologies, to the place, and how they built these pyramids of ideal geometric form. And as I know, these pyramids also told the ancients some cosmological they unravel some cosmological problems, and and of course the sites of the pyramids were directed directly to the sites of our planet, and so on and so forth. So that's really hard to imagine to how they could be built without using of any advanced technologies. I just have nothing to add, not to agree with this statement.
Right, I agree with you 100%. Now, now you've heard of the Illuminati, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question from one of the viewers from it looks like Camilo Martinez said, "Why do the Illuminati's use the pyramid as their logo, as their symbol? Do you have any theory on that?"
I don't know exactly why how to answer this question, but in general, I want to say that as we know, one dollar has a symbol of pyramid with Illuminati eye,
Mm-hmm.
and surely, as we know, there are in general there are a lot of conspiracy theories.
Right.
For example, the theory of Illuminati, of Masons, of reptilians, and so on, and so on, and so forth. But it's I think it's more than clear that our countries, our governments are not ruled just only by our presidents.
Right.
It's something I think that is something that we don't know, and something like world order and all the decisions in this new world order are made by people or not even people. I don't know who are they, reptilians or Anunnaki or some others, and they really decide our future and our presence and so on and so on and so forth. For example, one of the proofs of this theory is globalization. For example, I think our world is so globalized now that it's very hard to believe that, for example, only United States of America are doing this and so on and so forth.
Right.
I think that this is something behind of this all, and some some people or not people decide what gonna be next in the next, for example, in the next year, so in the next months. I think in years. Yeah, I think that Illuminati, for example, has a meeting every year.
Yes.
And they and on this meeting they decide what will be with our world in next year, for example.
Mm-hmm. See, now that's very interesting, and I want to point out for our viewers out there that since we've been doing our show, we have talked with people from around the world now, from South Africa, from Australia, from Asia, from the UK, from India, now from the Ukraine, the United States, Canada. We have talked to people from all walks of life around this world, and these people are all starting to think the same thing and believe the same thing, that what we would say over here we would call a shadow government, the government that's in the shadows behind the real government. And we believe that, and I know the Russians do, because I've heard this from Russians, where even the Russian people in the government would call, they say, the world mafia, the mafia that runs the world mafia. And as that would be referring to the same shadow government that we talk about. So for the viewers out there, it's interesting now that just if you've watched my show, and if not, go back and watch them, you will find the theme that is the constant, other than obviously we talk about aliens and we all believe that they're there. Secondly, we believe that the human race, we're starting to find out, and scientists are very slow on admitting, but they're going to have to admit soon, that we're not from here, that we did not evolve from apes here, that we're from somewhere else, and we'll have to start looking to the stars for that. But more importantly, that every single culture around this world believes that there is a sub-government or shadow government or people or aliens or both running our world behind what we believe is our proper governments, and we don't know who they are. Bilderbergers, Illuminati, like Dimitri said, different New World Order, reptilian aliens, maybe other aliens that we don't know, maybe the gray aliens, maybe human aliens for somewhere else, and maybe all of our people rich people in this world working with them, and we're their slaves. And it's interesting to note to the world that it's not just the United States, it's not just Leonard O'Neill with a conspiracy theory or Omar Fauci with a conspiracy theory. It seems to be that this conspiracy theory seems to be worldwide. And if something is worldwide, it can't be that we're all crazy. Do you see my point? So I just wanted to point that out to the world there, that even though this gentleman is all the way over in the Ukraine, he still has the same thoughts and fears that we do, going, hey, this is what I think's going on in the background. Now, let me ask you, do you think, like you said, you were talking about the pyramids and how it's hard to believe they didn't make the pyramids without some sort of technological help. Do you think that the pyramids were built by or with the help of extraterrestrials, or do you believe that at the time, this is your opinion, I know, but I have my opinion too, at the time, do you think the civilization that was here of humans had the ability to create the pyramids the way they are now, and that we have forgotten that? What is your opinion on that?
Okay. I think that pyramids really were built with the help of aliens or even by aliens, because as I told you before, it's very hard to believe how this big, large in stones of enormous size were put together, and now we have these beautiful pyramids without even any space between the stones. It's as I told, it's for modern technology development. It's impossible, and all of the scientists of all of technology specialists agree with that. For nowadays it's impossible to build the same pyramids. So I think that's why that maybe ancient aliens or Anunnaki or so forth build pyramids, or they assisted people. They told them about the technology they used maybe on their planets to build such kind of things, and only with the help of extraterrestrials, these pyramids and other strange structures on Earth were built. So I think there is no way we can't exclude the help of extraterrestrials in such a thing.
Right. Now, if it were, pardon me, if it were only the pyramids at the Giza Plateau, one might argue that it could have been built by a pharaoh 10,000 years ago or 20,000 years ago. But the fact that there are step pyramids all over the world that we're finding now, and the fact that there are pyramids exactly like the pyramids at the Giza Plateau all over the world. And like you were saying, which I did not have a confirmation until you were talking about the Ukraine, Bosnia, and different places where I knew about the step pyramids in Bosnia, but the different pyramids, like I know there are some in China that the Chinese have now covered up, and we don't get to see them. They've buried them and put trees and growing grass and trees and shrubs on top of them. Now, for some reason, they don't want us to know or the world to know that there are pyramids there. In some countries, do that and try to hide them, and that's fascinating to me. I don't understand why they would want to hide the pyramids unless they actually have some prior knowledge that they're trying to cover up, and I'd like to know what that is, because I would love to take a look at these pyramids and maybe see if we can get inside. So also the Egyptians say that the Giza Plateau, the Big Pyramid, is only just a burial mound for a king. But we don't believe that now, because there are too many pyramids across the world to be a pharaoh's burial ground, and there was no hieroglyphics inside that pyramid, and the other ones that we're finding across the world don't have hieroglyphs inside them, nor sarcophagi. So we can't say there was anyone buried in them, but there must have been another use for them. Do you have any theory as to what you think the pyramids were used for?
I think that they were used for some astronomical observations.
It's very possible. It's possible now that there's a theory that the pyramid in Giza, a couple of different theories. One, that it was a generator, a power generator, pardon me, and that linking the ideology of the Tesla coil to that generator, and that it was basically a giant Tesla coil, and that it created energy, and that energy went to the obelisks, the really tall obelisks that are all around the world, and the other pyramids, and also under the ground to create a free energy. It looks like we may have lost you. Did we lose you there, Dimitri? Yeah, it looks like we lost Dimitri. We'll have to wait till he comes back. So my theory, we'll see if we can get him back. Meanwhile, I'll keep going. My theory is that, and I'm sure you guys heard that the energy is like Tesla coil energy, and that it is through the earth itself, and he was starting to allude to that, saying that the pyramids are all in specific places around the world. I know he has a thick accent. For those of you who have a problem with his accent, I'm hoping that you guys are understanding him, because he was saying that the pyramids he knows are placed in specific places around the world, that I think he was trying to say coincide with the energies of the world and the ley lines of the world. But I could tell he was trying to find the words, and I didn't want to interrupt him to be rude and insert the words for him. But I think that's what he was trying to get across. So he understands that theory. And I wanted to get his opinion on whether he thought that it might be that or a water pump, like we just had our guest on here not too long ago who talked about that. Pardon me, I'm having phlegm problems right now for some reason. I think it's because I have landscapers outside my house cutting bushes, and there's one out there now you can probably hear getting closer with a blower, and my window's open, and I think I'm getting pollen coming in. So anyway, we're still waiting to get Dimitri back. We're not sure what happened. He's over in the Ukraine. These things happen when you're trying to talk to people. We have to deal with the airwaves between the entire planet. You know, I'm in the United States and California. Omar's in Canada. And just he and I talking to each other is thousands of miles an hour, going all the way around the earth to Dimitri to try and talk to him. And and who knows what happens over there with the cell service and anything in between there and here on the internet trying to talk to one another. It happens on the news and stuff. And I think we got him back. There he is. Hi, Dimitri. How you doing, buddy?
Something went wrong. Yeah.
It's okay. I was explaining to everybody that happens. This is technology. We're talking all around the world to someone, and it happens a lot. So I was asking you about the theories. Some people think that one theory is that the pyramid, at least the Big Pyramid in Giza, was a power generator of some sort, akin to or like to the Tesla coil where it was creating energy that was going encompassing the Earth for free energy. And another theory from another guest that I just had on a week or two ago that it might have been a water pump to pump water to the fields so they could grow food in Egypt. Do you have any theory about that?
Yes. I read about the theory of that pyramids are the like giant energy machines, and they maybe are the machines that produce something like eternal energy. I mean, energy without losses, and I mean, without losses.
Yeah, we would call that free energy or renewable energy here in the West.
Renewable energy, something like perpetuum mobile.
Yes, and that's what we believe. I mean, there's some theories. I believe that theory. I think that that the pyramid may have been. I'm also getting from my producers the tomb of the visitor has an alien buried in it. Have you heard about that?
I didn't hear about that, but I think that it's possible because, as I told before, that I think that pyramids were built or by extraterrestrials or with help of extraterrestrials, and there are no other ways. That's I think it's more than possible to find an alien in the pyramid. And what about the second theory? That you told that pyramid were used like giant pumps, for watering the grains and so on. I think I also didn't hear about this theory, but I think this theory is more than possible because, as we know, climate in Africa, in Egypt, is very tough and dry, and it could be these pyramids could be used for watering of plants. And it was saying I thought about the theory that there was advanced civilization in Africa before the Egyptians, and it was saying that the climate there at those times was much more different than we now have in Egypt. There were a lot of plants, a lot of rains, rivers, and so on and so forth.
Right.
I mean, I mean that the climate was something like subcontinental, continental, mild climate with normal rains and so on and so forth, and and there were a lot of green plants and so on and so forth. But after that, we don't know where is this civilization right now. Maybe it spread among all our humanity right now, or it was deceased or something like that. We don't know what happened to this civilization, but I think theory it is also very interesting. I think maybe something happened with the planet because, as I told, as I read, there is an Einstein theory that our planet poles shifting in period, I think, 10,000 of years or something like that. And but some catastrophe could happen when this ice, big ice melts off on the poles, could shift, and they can shift the planet axis, and the climate can change dramatically.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think that may have happened. That was a theory that that was told because our right now our poles are unsteady. They're not balanced steady. It's as if something happened and our poles changed and we're like a top sort of wobbling now. We're not steady. And there was a theory of the Romans. Someone in the Roman history, I don't know if it was Homer, but someone in the Roman history told about, and it was probably Homer because we don't have much Roman history from many other sources, told about the year, the day where the sun rose in the east and set in the west, then rose in the west and set in the east, then went back to normal the next day and rose in the east and set in the west, which would suggest that we flipped completely over on our axis and north became south and south became north, and then it righted itself, and that now we're still sort of wobbling. We're slowing down on a wobble and getting slower and slower. So that would be one part, but I think you're referring to maybe something that was more catastrophic, and the ice age ended 10,000 years ago. So something happened right around then. Now, getting back to, I wanted to get back really quickly to the tomb of the visitor, where the alien was buried. Just because I have the information on my screen, so I wanted to say that. I wanted to tell the people about that really quickly. Then we'll go back to what we were talking about. That was a documentary called "The Secret KGB Abduction Files." And it was about the KGB and a secret video footage of the KGB uncovering a tomb in Egypt in about 1945. And we're not exactly sure of the date, whether it was right at 1945, but it was circa 1945. That supposedly contained the body of an alien. It was supposedly the visitor was Osiris from the constellation of Orion. The documentary showed clear evidence. Hold on, now I scrolled up too fast and changed the page on myself here. Let me fix my thing here. The documentary showed clear evidence that the body was at least 10,500 years old. So this is why I wanted to stop you really quick, Mitro, because 10,500 years ago, something happened 10,500 years ago where they're looking at an alien body that was buried here, and you and I were also referencing some cataclysm that may have changed the course of our planet that we're on now. So it says, I'd also like to point out that the video from the film in question is the same batch of film reels that contained the crashed UFO footage in Russia, that the CAN reels of films were obtained from the same source. So it was a KGB investigation that we got this information from. How accurate that is sort of like about as accurate as something that we would have obtained from the CIA. You have to take it with a grain of salt because you don't know for certain whether it's accurate or not, right? But however, that's something to note. So that's supposedly the Osiris who had the elongated skull, who after that the pharaohs were purposely elongating their own skull to try and emulate what they believed was the god, and it was the god Osiris may have been in fact just an alien from another planet, a human from the Orion's belt. So I wanted to tell you about that really quick. The video is posted on our YouTube channel right now for you guys to watch that. I just got that from the producers in the background. They just told me that. So that was so thinking that 10,000 years ago, around that era, I'm getting it from my producers, was the Younger Dryas impact theory. So that may have been the Younger Dryas impact of the asteroid that may have shifted our pole and melted the ice from our ice caps. What do you think about that, Dmitro? Do you have thoughts on that? Are you still with me, buddy?
Please repeat the question because I can't hear you.
Okay, no
But
problem.
shortly.
That's okay. So the question is that we were talking about 10,000 years ago, somewhere thereabouts, with the poles shifting and the ice melting, and there's a theory that the Younger Dryas impact, which it was an asteroid called Younger Dryas that impacted the planet Earth, that may have shifted the poles and created a catastrophic event on the planet. Do you have any opinion about that? Did I cut out again? Were you able to hear me, buddy?
Yeah. I hear you. Yes, I think that something happened 10 years ago, and 10,000 years ago, and poles were shifting, and all, and maybe even shifting. Yes, of course, climate changed, and I think that maybe even new human races evolved at that time, because if there was a catastrophic event, people had to prepare to new conditions, and I think maybe some new races of people evolved at that time. Some new kinds of animals and so on and so forth. And I think that this shifting also could happen in the future, maybe even in the upcoming future, and this gonna be real because to our technological advanced civilization and so on. But if we take into account possible catastrophes of our time, the more actual, I think, even not asteroid, but for example, a giant solar coronal mass explosions. I don't know how to say correctly, but
the West call that a coronal mass ejection.
Yeah, ejection. As I know, there was a situation that in the year some.
Okay. Your phone's breaking up there a bit.
Right. 2001 after 10 in the dark, yeah, all electricity grids were destroyed. Yeah, and but I think, and I read that scientists forecast that in the future, in the upcoming future, even so this solar coronal ejections will be much more severe, and that could destroy the all electricity grid in the entire planet, and it's maybe it gonna be even more dangerous. For
Right?
example, if to compare with asteroid, because our world is so technological right now that everything depends on energy, on
Yep.
electricity.
Electricity,
I
yeah.
mean, I mean water distillation stations, airports, and so on and so forth. So I think we the main thing we must be prepared is
Yes.
yes, in the future solar corner in ejection. Yeah.
Yes, and I agree with that. In fact, I will I'll tell people right now, anybody who's listening or watching, I wrote a book. This was, I think it was my first book, first or second book. It's called Prepping / Survival for Beginners. Go and look that book up, and because anything that happens on this planet, if the solar flare hits the Earth and knocks out all of electricity, like Dmitro was talking about, this is a theory that they're concerned with. All electricity would be down today, and it wouldn't be back on tomorrow. Any of your batteries that you have, it would be like an electromagnetic pulse. And if electromagnetic pulse hit our planet, then everything, all of our batteries would be rendered useless. All of our grids, power grids in the whole world would go down, and you would have no water to your house, no electricity to your house, no refrigeration to your house. You would have nothing going to your house that would help you. You would be completely on your own to be able to take care of yourself and your family until power was restored and other things, and it may not be restored for a very long time, if ever. And we would be knocked back to the Stone Age overnight. What would you do right now if that happened to us at this very second? Everything went dark and didn't come back on. What you have on you and what you have with you, or what you have at your house, is all that you now have. You can't get money out of the bank because there is no more electronics. So they don't even know how much money you had in the bank. So you can't go to the bank and say, I have $10,000 in the bank, because they're going to say, I'm sorry, we don't know that. So you can't get any money from the bank. So the money you have in your pocket is the money that you have to live on. The food that you have in your house is the food that you have to live on. So how are you going to survive if that happens? You want to know how to survive if that happens? Or if in the wintertime the power freezes, the lines freeze and it goes down, there's a flood, there's a fire, a hurricane, a tornado, any natural disaster happens and it knocks the power out in your community for more than one day, how are you going to survive? If you want to know that, go and look me up, look up my book anywhere online. It's sold everywhere in the world online. Just look up the book, Prepping / Survival for Beginners, and then put my name after that, and it'll come up in every search engine on the face of the earth. And you can buy my book, and it'll teach you how to prepare yourself to be able to survive if that happened. All the things that you've forgotten that I've forgotten, how to grow food, all of that. So I'll just leave that at that for now and go back to our guest. So if let's say that it wasn't like that, that it wasn't a sun flare that strikes the planet, it could be anything else that could happen. To what would happen if, like Omar saying in the type here, he says, what if there was, what if the planet shifted in a certain way that the Earth's crust displacement happened? The word displaced, and the Earth's crust literally slid around from one place to another, be a giant earthquake. Or what if one of those super volcanoes erupted here in the United States in the state of Wyoming?
Yellowstone, yeah.
There's a super volcano that has erupted every 300,000 years, and it's overdue by some 30 or 40,000 years to erupt, and that's a planet-ending event, possibly. If you look back when we were interviewing these Strong, Stephen and Evan Strong, when we were talking about the history of the human race, we've talked to you about a volcano, a super volcano that erupted on the planet that destroyed the human race down to about 6,000 people. There was people in Australia left alive. There was people in South Africa left alive, and only the people in the north, in Norway, Sweden, the very tip, So what is now the Aryan race came out of that little group that was left there then, and all the other races of the planet came out of those other two areas, and now we've re-evolved. And like Dimitro said, some races, maybe the Asian races, weren't even invented or weren't there when those races came into being, because we know from the Strong's background that they say that the Chinese races or the Japanese races and the Asian races weren't even on the planet 40,000 years ago. So they showed up somewhere around 10 to 12,000 years ago, and that plays into what we were just talking about. So let me ask you this: if sorry, I'm getting a lot of background noise there. So if something like that did happen, what do you think would be ramifications? What do you think would happen? How long do you think it would be before the power would come back on if a mass coronal ejection happened?
How much time does it take to? You mean how much time does it take to cope with the results of this ejection, or what did you?
Yes.
Because
yes. How long do you think it would take for us to repair the damage and get, say, the electrical?
Yeah. Okay. I can ask. Yes, I think as I told you before, it's gonna be a really catastrophic event. I think the most dangerous event for our time, and I think that to cope with the results of this catastrophic event, we have to spend. For example, I think we have to spend years or maybe even decades, because as I told you before, everything depends our technology, everything depends on electricity, and everything controlled by electricity. And firstly, it's worth saying that unfortunately, after this event, really a lot of people will die.
Yeah.
Because as I told before, water pump stations and airplanes and trains and so on and so forth, all of that controlled by electricity. Then to recover all this electrical system, I think in the entire planet, we have to spend maybe years.
Yeah.
And of course, the world economy will be destroyed entirely.
Right.
I mean that losses will be accumulated in trillions, and I think maybe the world GDP will be equal to zero.
Right.
In this case.
Now, Jay, just in case you guys have tuned in and you tuned in late and you didn't hear us at the top of the show, and I have to apologize to the doctor because I haven't been referring to him as a doctor. He has a PhD in physics, and he's over in the Ukraine, and his name is Dr. Dmytro Shevchenko. And I've been very comfortable saying Dmytro and not referring to him with his title. So I want you guys to understand that he has a doctorate, he has a PhD in physics, and I haven't been referring to him through the whole show as doctor. And so I don't want you guys to think he's just just some guy over in the Ukraine who's saying this. The information that he's giving us is coming from a very well-educated mind. So I apologize, sir, for not not telling people sooner.
It's not a problem.
So I think the producer's yelling at me in the background. You keep calling him Mitro. You need to tell people he has a PhD. So for those of you who just tuned in, he does have a PhD in physics, and so that's why I'm asking him all these questions. So it'd be years before we would recover, and the economy, like you said, it would be we would have there would be nothing. There would be no stock market, nothing. We would literally have to become farmers again and grow our own food and trade and barter. Maybe at that point, have you heard of the Ubuntu ideology, the Ubuntu movement in the world? Have you heard about that?
About which moment?
Ubuntu.
No. Unfortunately, I didn't hear about that. So please explain to.
Man, yes. I would love to. There's a man. His name is Michael Tellinger, and Ubuntu means literally it means we as we are. But that's a rough translation. It's more. It's more we as united. It means many things. That's what's weird. The way I looked it up and I had it written down. I don't have it with me. It means many things, but the ideology of what it means is that everyone is equal and we all commune together and work together. So the ideology is that without money, you don't need money in Ubuntu. You don't need money, and it's spelled U-B, because I want to make sure I have this right. Let me write it down. I don't have it in front of me. So it's Ubuntu, U-B-U-N-T-U, Ubuntu. And for those of you that want to look it up, if not, you can watch our video with Michael Tellinger that's at our website or our YouTube channel. So the ideology is that there is no money, and that we all contribute together. And the word I was looking for, thank you, my producers in telling me it's contributionism. It would be the single word that Ubuntu would translate to. So everyone contributes to the society. If you have a village of 2,500 people, then every single person has to give 3 hours per week to the community, doing something for the community itself. After that, all the rest of your time is yours. Everything is free because you're going to have someone who's going to grow the food, someone who's going to milk the cows, someone who's going to light the electricity and run the stores, because everyone will have to pick a job of what they want to do, and you're free to pick whatever job that you want to, and as long as all the other jobs that you need to survive are taken care of. So you're going to have doctors that are going to want to be doctors, just like now. You're going to have nurses that want to be nurses, and farmers that want to be farmers. And when people say, well, who's going to pick up the garbage? Well, everyone's going to pick up the garbage. Looks like we lost the doctor again. We'll get him back in a second when he gets his phone. That happens. Like I said earlier, it happens when you're talking to somebody on the other side of the world. Sometimes sunspot, like we were talking about, right? Sometimes aircraft flies over near him, something strange happens, changes your cell signal or your computer signal, trying to go from there to here. We'll get him back in a second, and then I'll continue explaining what Ubuntu means to him. For those of you here that are listening to us now, watching us now, go to our website, take a look and watch that video from Michael Tellinger, where I interviewed him, and we'll talk about it there. And so there he is. There he is. Yeah. There he is. You're back. So I don't know how much you heard before you went away, but it means everybody contributes together in the society, and everyone does all the jobs that need to be done for everyone to survive. That way you don't have to have any monetary anything, no money, because everything is for free. If you need blankets, you get blankets from the people who make the blankets. If you need food, you get the food, and there's going to be people that are going to have those jobs. So that's how we survive without money. And right now it works on a small scale, and they're working on it in Canada in 2 possible cities in Canada where they're going to look into switching over to that ideology. They're also the Ubuntu planet.org is where you want to look for that. There's political movement where they are a legitimate political party in 4 countries, in South Africa, in Australia, I think it's New Zealand, and maybe Indonesia, but don't quote me on that last one. So you guys can look that up. Um, Doctor, you should look into that as well. That's a big movement on the world to end monetary gain in this capitalistic monetary, crude oil dollar that the world is basing their money on around the world, and inform people all over the planet about this ideology. And if someone wants to come up with a better idea than Ubuntu, then I'm sure that Michael Tellinger would work with you, because he's open to everything. But his ideology so far is pretty sound. So if you have any ideas, I would say contact him, because he would be able to work. He would work with you to come up with improving his ideas. We have, like I said, there was a couple of towns in Canada, and our producing director, Omar, is going to be running for mayor in one of the towns that is going to, if he becomes mayor, he's going to try and convert the town to Ubuntuism, I guess is what we'll start calling it at that point, Ubuntu lifestyle. So he's working on that platform to do that further down the road as we go here. Our directing producer, Omar Fozzy. So back him too, guys, when he decides to run for mayor up there. I mean, we're not living up there, but we can still talk to everybody in the world and say vote for him. So so what do you think about that society and that way of living as an alternative to what we have now, Doctor? What do you think about that? Did you hear me on that, buddy? Are you still with me, or did I lose you?
No. Unfortunately, please repeat again.
Okay, the Ubuntu lifestyle that I've explained. Did you get the explanation of that, or did?
Yeah. I listened to it. Yeah.
What is
so some thoughts about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Please.
I. Okay. Some thoughts about it. I have never, I have never heard about this moment, but fortunately, I've heard about another Project Venus. Maybe you know, and it's similar to this. I think to this moment, and according to this project. Humanity, I think the only way to save humans is to create a needless society. I mean,
right.
The society that will not have mustn't have to have money at all. To the societies that would have an endless supply of energy. The societies that will have, for example, zero CO2 emissions and zero, for example, the society that will not have problems with ecology. Everything will be clean, and everywhere on the planet, all the people will be happy, and this is the case. But in general, I think, and also, for example, my relatives think that unfortunately this project will not be completed because of the human nature. I mean what? Human nature is of this kind that some humans want to rule, while some humans want to rule to rule another part of humans, and this another part of humans, I think maybe uh, will never succeed. Unfortunately, that's the nature of our humans. That there are two big parts. In our world, there are only billions of poor people and only not very big percentage of rich people, and this for example, 1% of rich people rules 99% of poor people. That's why, because of human nature, I think these all projects are impossible. As for me.
Well, and I understand what you're saying because they're a lot more violent. They'll do whatever they need to do to survive. And if push comes to shove, I understand what you're saying. That maybe they'll just bump off the leaders of these groups, kill them, and then continue going because that's what they usually do in the past. So I understand what you're saying. It's an uphill battle. That may not be winnable in the foreseeable near future. You might be right in that, but I think optimism on the part of people may at some point win the day. But who's to say, right? We don't know. So I'm getting that we're running out of time. So from the producers, we're almost at the 90-minute mark here, and then we'll have to stop. So why don't you again tell everybody where they can find you? Give us your Facebook page name, your website, your name, who you are, so that people know who you are and where to look to find so they can subscribe to you.
Okay, no problem. So my name is Dmitro Chervinko. I can spell it. I mean DMYTROCHERVINKO. That spells this way. You can find me on Facebook. I mean, my ID is Dmitro Chervinko 33. You can also write in messages to Mysterious Earth. My website is mysteriousEarth.net, and my Facebook page Mysterious Earth. So you can write to Mysterious Earth. And by the way, I also want to say that our website Mysterious Earth is already on sale. It is on sale on Latonos, and if you want to buy it, you can write to my Facebook to Mysterious Earth Facebook page, or to my own page, Dmitro Chervinko, and we will discuss all details about buying. It is on sale on Latonos, so you can also write to Latonos and ask about the purchase. And and of course, thank you for attention. Nice to meet you. Nice to hear you.
Yes, nice to meet you. Nice to hear you. Nice to talk to you. Great conversation. I like the conversation. You're a very intelligent man with very good insights into the world. I'd love to have you back on at some point and talk about things we didn't get to talk about with different aliens and different things that go on. So we'll have to look into that. Maybe we can have you back on.
No problem. I would like to do this, and thank you to all of organizers that invited me. It was a great pleasure to talk with you, to answer different intriguing questions, and questions was really interesting and intriguing, and it's a great pleasure because our world is very interesting and intriguing, and our human nature is of such things that we want to unravel. And I think it's the great. I think it's good point for the end of our conversation.
Okay, all right, Doctor. Don't hang up when we get done. When we end here, I'm gonna end things, and then I believe that we play exit music. So wait till that's over. When all that's over, Omar will come on and we'll talk and let us know that we're off the air. So don't hang up right away, okay? So all right, guys, this has been a great show. I was enjoying this. Me being the nerd that I am and being the scientist that I am, I was having a great conversation. Hopefully, we didn't say things that you guys think we're just nerding out on and that we went too far being nerds, but I was having a great time talking to the doctor here about all this stuff, and I'd love to talk to him about other stuff. So watcherstalk.com, right? Go to our website. We have our app on our website. You guys can download that. Also, go to our YouTube channel. There's links to that on our site. If not, go to YouTube and do a search and do Watchers Talk. Subscribe to us on our channel. Like us and share us with your friends. Like I said, the calendar, we got some interesting stuff tomorrow, 5 p.m. tomorrow. We have the medium Heather Reese coming on. It's actually, that's where her website is, heatherreese.com. She's getting remarried. Has a different last name, but all of her stuff is still under Heather Reese, so she has two last names. But she's going to be on tomorrow. She's a medium psychic, and you're going to want to hear what she has to say. I had a 3-hour conversation with her. She told me some things. Lord have mercy. She told me some things that you guys are going to want to understand, and you're going to want to hear. All these theories that we've been kicking around all over the Ancient Aliens page and the Watchers pages, she's going to give us some insight that you guys really, really, really want to hear. So you're going to want to take a look at that. Coming up on our calendar on May 4th, we have Caroline from Omnium Universe. Again, you're going to want to see that because she has a documentary, and maybe we'll get to see a little blurb. If not, we'll put her commercial on. It's only a 30-second spot, but you'll be able to see that and take a look at that. I believe it's on our website. You can take a look at that. She made a documentary where she actually interviews people who have actually spoken to aliens, touched aliens, seen aliens, and she's winning an award in a science fiction category later on in the month here in May. So if you guys are going to be in New York around the 29th, 28th, I think it is, in May, she's going to be down in New York. She'll tell you about that when she's here. That'll be on the 4th, which is May 4th. We're still looking for somebody to do the World Star Wars Day for May the 4th be with you. Doesn't look like you guys are going to show up. Star Wars, you guys are dropping out on me. I bet if this was a Star Trek Day, I'd have people want to talk about Star Trek. So you Star Wars guys are losers. You're losing out. On your National World Day, you don't want to have anybody talk. Come on, guys. Somebody's got to step up. All right. If not, well, I'm not going to do the show. Real simple. We got Bruce Cunningham coming up May 5th, right? Bruce Cunningham. Come on, guys. We're going to talk about Angkor Wat. Shout out to the guys from Portal to Ascension. We always got to do that. Those guys have going across the nation. They just got done with their global webinar event, 5-day. Now they're going to go on tour, North American tour, where they're going to go across the United States and many different dates. Go to our site at watchtalk.com. Go to their website as well. They have links to that, and they're going to end up in Canada, where the directing producer in the background, Omar Fazli, is going to meet them when they do their final show, and hopefully we can get some footage from that live, something hopefully here. Okay, so we're coming up. We're going to get dumped. We're coming up on the 90-minute mark. So we're going to end the show right there, guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. Thank you to the doctor once again for being here. It was a great conversation.
Thank you.
We can get you on here again.
So bye. That's why.